Hey everybody, David Ellison here. Thank you for stopping by the Rock Shop. You know, the last month or so I've been to all four corners of North America. Been at some music festivals, music industry events. Also been in the studio producing, working with some new artists. So anyway, I've in my travels, you know, I get to talk to a lot of different people, a lot of young musicians, new musicians, people who have been in the game for a while trying to catch a lucky break. And I more and more, it just always keeps coming back to me that you cannot ever avoid the basics. The basics as far as our playing, as far as our preparation, and certainly as far as our performance goes. You know, it dawned on me, you know, that there's really three elements of what we do. You know, we practice, we rehearse, and then we perform. And the practicing is what we do at home in our own time. And I can never stress enough, as I always, only in my own experiences, but also working with other musicians, how important it is to be working with a metronome so that when you get in the studio you can play to a click track, or that when you're on the stage that your time is just flawless. It really makes such a huge difference. So when you think about practicing, you know, practicing at home, whether it's our scales or drum rudiments, whatever it is, you know, that's the time when we break things down. We're not there to play fast and show off. We're there to really hone in our skills so that when we get into the band room, which is when we rehearse, that's not the time to be practicing. You know, that's the time to show up, know our parts, have our stuff down so that we can get together and start to unite and work well with other musicians. If in the band or whatever the musical setting is that we're preparing for. And then when it comes time to either being in the studio or being on the stage, that is our time to perform. So our quality of rehearsal and our quality of our individual practice time are going to be directly reflected when it comes performance time. Now as far as going into the studio, here's my cat again. As far as going into the studio, there's a couple of things that you know, we talk about here in the Rock Shop, which as far as intonating our gear, we talked a little bit about it in our recording segments about how to mic drums, but you know, making sure we got new drum heads. Our sticks are in good shape, our cymbals sound good. If you're a string instrument player, make sure you've got new strings, make sure your instrument is intonated, and make sure that these things are together so that when you get in the studio, you're prepared for what you're about to do, which is put yourself under the microscope and record. As far as live performance goes, it's the same thing, making sure your gear is together. But when it comes to live performance, something that is so valuable, I mean, every sports team does this, and if you're going to win the World Series or the World Cup or, you know, take a championship ring, you know, one of the things that everybody does is they review game tapes. And it's important that we do that as performers, that we sit, we videotape ourselves in our performance, whether it's just in a rehearsal room or maybe we watch from other shows that we've done. And I can't tell you how many times, you know, whenever I'm on the road, sit in the back lounge of the bus on the way to the next city and review the tape from the show that night, because that's how you get better. And the ability for the team as a band or an ensemble to sit down and to be able to constructively review what we do is huge. It's important, and it's something, please do not overlook that. So, and that's not something that everybody's good at either. Not everybody is able to handle not only self-criticism, but also criticism from your buddies in the band if there's something that you need to work on. And it should always be, of course, constructive criticism, trying to encourage people to, you know, step up and, you know, maybe it's the guitar player needs to step out when he plays his solo, maybe the singer needs to work on his raps in between the songs, maybe it's some transitions and medleys of songs in your live show. So there's a lot of things that we can really learn by shooting video and paying attention to those things. Also, as far as when it comes time for the show, in particular live show, you know, advance your show. Usually there's always somebody in the band. There's, you know, the cast of characters in the band are almost always the same no matter the band. You know, there's the outgoing person, there's kind of the shy introverted one, there's the guy who's just all he wants to play music, and, you know, there's the guy who wants to be, you know, kind of the schmoozier guy, and there's usually one of these guys that has some kind of a business hat on him, but somehow delegate a leader so that when you walk in and you can advance your show, you've got someone at the club or the venue to talk to. He's got, you know, I've learned, you know, you basically, you advance and then you make a call and you advance it again, and then even as you're driving up, make one final call to make sure somebody's there at the venue. You know, open the venue up, make sure that there's your sound and light technicians there, know what time you can be there to load in, what time you can do your sound check, what is your backline situation like as far as the equipment that you're using, the changeover in between bands, and obviously if you're getting paid, someone should be there to help settle that, settle the money side of it, as well as drinks and food and all the other things that go along with it. But someone should be there to, within the group, if not in the group, a representative for the group to be able to look after those things. Because again, the main thing is play nice with people, make friends. You want them to have you back, and or if you're on the way up, you want to be building a following and not leaving a trail of destruction behind you, but being in a situation where your performance runs smoothly and people think highly of your organization, so that you're a well-oiled machine and that it's a good night for everybody, and the promoter wants to make money or the bar owner wants to make money, and so that, again, remembering that you are in the business side of music. So anyway, a lot of stuff we just talked about. If you got any questions, feel free to get me, rockshop@davidellefson.com. Thanks for stopping by.